Are you able to see the PPT? Sorry, I wasn't aware that I was muted. Okay, are you able to see the PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine, right. Thank you. Because I had not completed the applications. We had taken up application in one class, but then we couldn't complete the application in that particular class. Okay, so we'll just try to have a recap of the various applications in the popular domains. That is in the financial data analysis, then retail and telecommunication industry, science and engineering, intrusion detection and prevention, recommender systems. These are the popular applications of data mining. Okay, so I think intrusion detection was discussed, but then let's have a recap. Okay, so all of you know what is a network intrusion means. Any unauthorized activity that happens over a digital network is what is called an intrusion. Okay, so it either can be done in a passive mode where you're just trying to analyze the traffic, capture some information, or in a active mode where you want to steal the information or jeopardize the security of the network or the data associated with it. Okay, so uh, the whatever it is, the intrusion is something, it's all often involves stealing valuable network resources. Stealing the valuable network resources, either with a passive intent or with an active intent. If it's passive intent, it's okay, but if it's active intent, it will bring the network down. Okay, so intrusion means it can either be guessing or cracking the password, or distributing some pirate software, or some denial of service attacks. Okay, okay, you are basically trying to starve the host with whatever resources is needed. So that's when we call it as a denial of service, or some virus attack, or some Trojan horse attack, or some traffic flooding. So all these can be intrusions. Okay, so generally the intrusion detection system falls into two category. One is what is called the signature based detection, and the second one is what is called the anomaly based detection. Signature based and anomaly based. Okay, so then signature based detection. Signature based detection means it will detect the attacks on the basis of the specific patterns. Okay, like how many number of bytes or how many number of ones or zeros are there in the network traffic. Okay, so I mean, whatever is the detected pattern in that intrusion, that's what is basically called the signature. Okay, so a signature based intrusion detection system will monitor the network traffic for matches to these signature. Okay, so once a match is being found, the IDS will report the anomaly. It will take action to prevent the system with additional appropriate actions. Okay, so since the systems are quite dynamic, the signatures need to be updated laboriously whenever new software versions arrive or change in the network configuration or other situations occur. Okay, so yet another drawback is the detection mechanism can only identify cases that match the signature. It may not be able to detect new or previously unknown intrusion. Okay, so that's the reason we have this second thing called anomaly based detection. Anomaly based detection. Okay, so anomaly based detection means you can even detect unknown malware attacks. Okay, because new malwares are getting developed on a day to day basis. Okay, so you basically make use of some machine learning techniques or data mining techniques to create some sort of model. So you can say a trust model. Okay, so all the traffic whatever is coming will be compared with respect to that model, and then it will be declared as malware or not. Okay, if in case it is not found in the model, that will be treated as a malware. Okay, so machine learning can be made use of it. Okay, so uh, yeah, the main advantage of the anomaly detection is it may detect novel intrusions that have not yet been observed. Okay, so that's what the second type, anomaly based detection. Okay, so now coming to data mining techniques involved in this intrusion detection system. Okay, so this data mining methods can help an intrusion detection and prevention system to enhance its performance in a variety of ways. Okay, because um, this data mining algorithms, it can be used for both signature based as well as for anomaly based detection. Okay, so in case it is signature based detection, the training data. Okay, so you can go for some classification technique. You can classify it as either normal data or intrusion. Okay, so you can classifier can be derived. Okay, so to detect the known intrusions. Okay, so some classification algorithms, association rule mining, all the sorts of data mining techniques can be made use of. Okay, then again decision trees can be used, or your neighbor Bayesian classifiers, SVMs. Okay, so analyzing the stream of data, network streaming, streaming data or the live data, distributed data mining, okay, or visualization and querying tools. So these are the various data mining techniques that can be made use of. Okay, so same case, these are the projects associated with the IDS. I think I have discussed this in detail. Am I right? I think there is no need to discuss this again. Now I remember I have discussed this. What are the basic steps involved in uh, data mining for intrusion detection? Hmm, See, the data coming from heterogeneous sources. So they are coming, feature construction, selecting the features, selecting the features, then building the data mining model and analysis of results using some querying and analysis tools. Okay, so I think this was discussed, feature construction. Okay, so I think we'll go to the next one. So the next one was the recommendation system. Okay, so recommendation system, which all of you are very familiar. So for personalization, making product recommendations. Okay, so which can be a content-based recommendation or a collaborative recommendation or a hybrid recommendation. Because online shopping and other things, they are very popular these days. Okay, so consumers are faced with millions of goods and services when they are shopping online. Okay, so these kind of recommendation system, that will help the customers to make product recommendations. Okay, what they are interested in. Okay, so if they are interested in books, CDs, movies. Okay, so I mean according to their personal choices. Okay, so for example, Amazon, you are visiting the website of Amazon's bookstore or something. Okay, so if you have already visited that website for the particular book in the previous year or something, so that will always be stored, and based on that you can get recommendations for further reading also. Okay, so your previous visit, store click, click stream information, everything regarding your past purchase, everything gets stored. Okay, so it will compare your interest with others, and it will immediately flash a message. Customers who have bought this book have also bought these titles as well. So when you get such a message, it can so happen that, okay, so there could be some other titles that can spark your interest, and that can result in you buying some other book also along with the book what you wanted. Okay, so that is actually the power of online marketing. Okay, so same way, the additional products which are being brought along with a particular product. For example, when you buy a computer, additional products like a printer or a mouse, or some other associated computer software or hardware, may be provided at a discounted rate, compelling you to buy them. Okay, so I mean, targeted marketing, online one-to-one marketing. Okay, so collaborative recommendation systems. Okay, so these are all becoming very, very popular. Okay, so that's regarding data mining and recommendation system. Okay, data mining and see, users see into item S. Extract from known to unknown ratings to predict user item combinations. I think this is where we stopped in the previous class. Okay, so then the last one is actually the third one, which we couldn't discuss on that particular day, was actually data mining for financial data analysis. Financial data analysis. Okay, so financial data which is being collected by banks and financial institutions. Okay, so they are generally considered to be complete, reliable, and high quality information. Okay, so and these days, all of you know, most of the banking and the financial institutions, they provide a variety of instruments. Okay, variety of banking services, core banking, demat services, a lot of different types of banking. Okay, savings account, current account, demat account, investment services, credit card services, okay, mortgaging services, providing loans for various purposes. It could be personal loans, automobile loans, or cards for different purpose. Okay, so then insurance services are being provided by banks. Then stock market or stock investment services are also being provided by banks. Okay, so but then the main feature is financial data is generally considered to be of high quality data, complete and reliable. Okay, so design and construction of data warehouse. You can construct and design a data warehouse for multidimensional analysis and data mining. Multidimensional data analysis, okay, can be done because uh, data warehouse is being modeled as a multi-dimensional data cube. Okay, multi-dimensional data cube, because real world data is multi-dimensional. It is not 10 dimensions or 30 dimensions which is there for the data. It is hundreds of dimensions. So I mean, analyzing it may not be that easy. That's the reason why we go for multi-dimensional data analysis. Just like you do your SQL related operations on your RDBMS, like your select, insert, add, delete, and other things. Here in the data warehouse, we perform what is called OLAP operations, online analytical processing operations, like slicing the data, dicing the data, drilling, rolling up, rolling down, and all these kinds of the things which we generally do on the data. Okay, so are you people interested in seeing an example for OLAP operation that is actually not a part of your syllabus, but then if you're interested, I can show you how a OLAP operation looks like. Nobody wants to see it. People are there, right? Because okay, nobody's interested. Okay, anyway, I'm not showing because it is not a part of your syllabus, because it is mentioned here multi-dimensional data analysis. Okay, that's the reason why somebody has put in the chat window. Was it an accident or somebody was trying to raise the hand? There are no responses. Okay, as such, only 28 people raised hand. Anirudh is interested in listening. Okay, fine. I'll just show you. Yes, yes. Anirudh, what was it a mistake that you're raising the hand, or you wanted to? I think Anirudh is not aware that Anirudh is raising the hand.
Ma'am,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
ma'am, I don't know, ma'am. It is happening, ma'am. I
Oh, okay, okay. Leave it, leave it. Okay, fine, fine. I think maybe some key you would have accidentally pressed, and that could be the reason. Fine, leave it. Okay.
anyways, thank you.
Right. So, oh, it's come in yellow color. Right, wait. Okay, multi-dimensional data analysis. Okay, that's actually a very beautiful area. Mm, Okay. So view the debt and revenue changes by month, by region, by sector, and by other factors. Then access the statistical information like max, min, total, average, trend, and all these things. Then loan payment or prediction or customer credit policy analysis. Okay. Then feature selection, attribute relevance ranking. What are the uh, attributes which are of interest to the users. Okay, so I mean, for example, the company's financial officer may want to view the debt and revenue changes. They may want to view it in terms of month detail. I mean, along with the maximum, minimum, total, average, trend, deviation, and along with other statistical information. But then when you're taking the monthly information, so maybe certain aspects, the age of the customer, or I mean the mobile number of the customer, certain aspects may not be that relevant for that particular analysis. Okay, so this data warehouses, the data cubes. Okay, so I mean the data cubes. Okay, they all these things will help in the characterization and class comparisons, then clustering patterns, then all these outlier analysis, all these play a very important role in uh, your statistical data mining, data analysis and data mining. Then again, loan payment prediction, loan payment prediction and customer credit policy analysis. Okay, so I mean, they are actually very critical to the business of a bank. Okay, so there are many factors that can strongly or weakly influence the loan payment performance and customer credit rating. Okay, so in that case, all these various data mining techniques like your attribute selection or attribute relevance ranking. Okay, so that will help us to identify which are the important factors and then you can eliminate the irrelevant ones. Okay, for example, factors related to risk of loan payments. So that can include some economical aspects like loan to value ratio, the term of the loan, whether it is a 10-year loan or a 20-year loan, or the debt ratio. Debt ratio means the total amount of monthly debt versus the total monthly income. Okay, so that can also influence. Okay, or the payment to income ratio. Okay, or what is the level of customer's income, what is his education level, okay, what is his credit history, is he a permanent defaulter or is he a person who pays his EMI on time every time. What is the region of residence, whether it's an urban area with a good living standard and high salary or whether it's a rural area with no much prospects. All these are factors which will influence the loan payment. Okay, so and again, if you analyze the customer's payment history, you may be able to find so many aspects. Okay, whether the you may be able to find out some interesting patterns. Say your payment to income ratio, that's a dominant factor. Okay, so or maybe your education can be an important factor, may not be an important factor. Okay, so the bank after that can decide to and it can adjust its uh, policy in the sense out here it is a loan granting policy whether the loan has to be granted or not. Okay, so and it can decide that the loans can be you can grant loans to those customers whose applications were not previously denied by any other bank, or whose profiles are showing relatively low risk, according to some analysis. So the analysis can be some critical factor analysis or something. So accordingly, the banks can decide, okay, on a loan granting policy, okay, based on so many factors. Okay, so then if you come to the next slide, yeah, the classification and clustering. Classification and clustering of customers for targeted marketing. Okay, so classification and clustering methods, they can be used for customer group identification and targeted marketing. Okay, so whether they belong to uh, based on their annual income. Okay, so whether they belong to middle class people or rich people or super rich people or HNIs, high net worth individuals, you can appropriately segment them and then identify them and do targeted marketing. A luxury brand product may not sell in a middle class region. Okay, so accordingly, the customer groups can be identified along with various factors, and then accordingly, targeted marketing can be done. Okay, so then again, we can use classification to identify most critical factors, okay, that may influence a customer's decisions regarding banking. Okay, so the customers with similar behaviors regarding the loan payment. Okay, so that can be identified by the so-called multi-dimensional clustering techniques. Okay, so all these can be made. Okay, all these analysis will help to identify the customer groups, associate a new customer with an appropriate customer group, and all these will enhance or help in what is called your targeted marketing. Okay, so multi-dimensional segmentation of nearest neighbor, classification, decision trees, all these can be used to identify customer groups or associate a new customer to an appropriate customer group. Okay, then it can help in detecting money laundering and other financial crimes. Okay, so in order to detect this money laundering and other financial crime, it is very important to integrate information from multiple heterogeneous databases. Okay, heterogeneous databases means it can be from the bank's transaction history, from bank's database. Okay, then again, not just from there, from the criminal history, crime history, the federal or the state crime history database. Okay, so both can be used as long as they are potential and related to the study, and the data is not too very old and outdated. Okay, so money laundering and other financial crimes can be detected by integrating data from multiple heterogeneous databases, different types of databases like banking and uh, from your criminal history. Okay, so what are all the data mining tools that can be made uses? You can use tools for visualization, linkage analysis, classifying, clustering tools, outlier analysis, sequential pattern analysis, okay, to find unusual access sequence. Okay, so all these. So multiple data analysis tools can then be used to detect unusual patterns. Okay, so like whether there is a huge cash flow to the customer's account at certain periods, okay, by certain groups of customers. All these things can be analyzed, and we can find out whether money laundering is happening or financial crimes are happening. Okay, so different useful tools can be used. Data visualization tools can be used like Power BI and Cognos and other things to display transaction activities by using graphs based on times or based on groups of customers. Okay, then try to identify links between different customers and their activities. Okay, so for that you can make use of some linkage or network analysis tools can be used. Okay, then you can even filter unrelated attributes and rank the highly related ones. For that you can make use of some classification tools. Okay, or you can try to group or cluster the different customers or different cases. For that you can make use of some clustering tools. Okay, or you can like what we have learned in the fifth unit, you can even detect some unusual or huge amount of fund transfers or some other activities. So that can be made use of by doing some outlier analysis or by making use of some outlier analysis tools. Okay, or you can characterize some certain types of unusual access sequence by making use of some sequential pattern analysis tools. Okay, so all these different data mining tools can be used in the financial data analysis domain. Okay, all these tools whatever I have just discussed, it will try to identify important relationships and patterns of activities. And it will help the investigators to focus on suspicious cases for further detailed examination. Okay, so I hope you've understood or listened at least to some extent what are the major data mining tools which could be used in these particular domains where you are listening. So with that, that last topic which was pending, actually in fact I had taken this application in one of the classes, but I couldn't complete it that particular day. So that was the reason which I took it this today. So now what is remaining for us is only revision and maybe some practical demos I can show by making use of Colab and Python and other things. So many of the techniques, whatever we have learned, could be demonstrated in the further classes. Otherwise, with that, we are actually winding up our class. So, is there anything you people want to learn? You can let me know. I can always take it up and we can have it, because in between your cycle test also you must be having classes. Am I right?